Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's the end of June 2025. I'd like to talk to you about security, your security, my security, all of our security. I'm well versed in the exercise of security. I've done it most of my life, different kinds of security. And I understand the need for security. But I'm asking you about your security. Because your politicians, your Prime Minister in particular, has already said, get enough stuff in so as if the lights go out, you can survive for a fortnight. You've been told this. I haven't seen anybody talking about this. You have been told to prepare for war. If it was anything else, I'd put a question mark on it. If it was another virus, I'd put a question mark on it. If it was another lockdown, I'd put a question mark on it. When a politician tells you to get ready for war, put your bloody boots on. The only thing I find suspect about all of this, and I want you to remember that we're talking about, they've told us to prepare for war on our home ground. They have told us to prepare for war on our home ground. Why? It's very unlikely we're going to be invaded by the Russians, because they're too busy in the Ukraine. It's highly unlikely that the Iranians are going to paratroop into bloody London. And other than the Russians, the Chinese, they ain't going to be parachuting into London. And it's very unlikely that the North Koreans are going to be doing it. So on a global scale, the only people who could actually be parachuting into London is probably the Americans, because they're the only ones with the logistics to actually do this. So when they're telling us to prepare for war on our home ground, they're not talking about we're going to get hit by this, that, and the next thing. They are talking about preparing for war on our home ground. So where's this enemy going to come from? Where is this enemy who is going to cause this war on our home ground going to come from? They're already here. Your government understands, the same as Trump did, that the moment you have mass migration, mass deportations, the moment you tell them you now have mass deportations, we have got about 7 million people that are going to try and disappear into the woodwork. Somewhere over the next 18 months, all of these people are going to understand that this country is demanding mass deportations. There's no question about this now. We can't afford this anymore. Everybody else who belongs in this country is getting hurt because of these people who are illegal. I want you to consider, and look all over the press, I want you to consider the security measures that are being taken at Dover and along the the south coast, and the security measures that was taken at Glastonbury. They have surrounded the whole area of Glastonbury in a double fence. It must have cost millions just for the fence, because it's probably rented, so somebody's making money out of this. But they've managed to surround the whole of Glastonbury in a fence, just so as they could have a rock concert. But they can't put a fence on the edge of Dover, on the cliffs, all the way around the edge, and put these people into an internment camp. They can intern the people going to Glastonbury under security measures, nice though it is, but they can't use the same security measures to secure these individuals coming in on the boats and the ones coming in on the planes. from all over Europe, from all over the world. The point I'm making is, if you want to stop mass migration into our country, you have to be able to deter them. And the only way you're going to deter them is to make it perfectly plain. If you break the law in this country, you're out of here. And if we can't put you out, you're going to an internment camp until we can. Because you broke the law, because you're breaking people's peace, because you're destroying things. When we start to put prison ships in the English Channel, these boats will stop. We make them, put some work back into the ship industry. We make 5 prison ships. And we put them in the English Channel. We've already got one somewhere. I think it's in Portland, lurking around doing fuck all. Move that into the Channel and watch these people change their mind. Because tell them, no, you're going first onto the boat, then we're going to process you, and then we're going to deport you. You're not going to touch British soil, and if you do, you're going into an internment camp. And you're going to be there until you tell us everything about yourself. And if that takes you 20 years, then you will be an enemy of the state for that 20 years. Unless you tell us everything about you, in which case we will consider your application for asylum / immigration, depending. But we have to have clear rules about this. Because when we start mass deportations, 7 million plus people will go into the woodwork, as I've just said. And there isn't enough woodwork for them to go into. So we're going to have insurrection. Religious insurrection will probably be the start of it. Because that's what these people hide behind. I know plenty of Muslims, and they're peaceful people. I get on well with them. I know Sikhs, I know Jews, I know Catholics, Protestants, Sunnis and Shiites. I don't have a problem with any of them. And they don't have a problem with me because they know I don't have any God at all. Because they're peaceful people, and I'm a peaceful individual, on the whole. And we all live in peace until some nut fundamentalist comes along and starts screaming for a holy war for Christianity, a holy war for Islam, a holy war for Judea. But it's a repetitive pattern. They tell us, prepare for war. We instantly think, oh, it's going to be against the Russians or the Chinese or the yada yada yadas. No, it's not. It's going to start when we start mass deportations, because we're going to have to intern these people first. I don't have a problem with immigration. And I don't have a problem with asylum. Because asylum in itself is very important. Because it means that people who are in dire straits inside their own country because their own government are locking them up for things like Facebook pages, criticizing the government or whatever. When somebody who's living under an oppressed government comes here and claims asylum, we have a good way of sorting it out. And it works. Because we've always had a cap on asylum. When it comes to immigration, we need immigration. Because without immigration, we don't get a diversity of minds. And I don't mean all this bloody woke diversity. That nonsense needs to end. I'm on about diversity, where you can go into a Jamaican restaurant and get Jamaican food, or an Italian restaurant and get Italian food. Or you can go into their lessons and learn about them. Or you can go into a mosque and learn about that without being oppressed. Or you can go into a church and learn about that without being oppressed. Or without being glared at. Because that's where we need to be. religion has used people for so long, right since the dawn of mankind, when one twat turned around and said, "See that rock? That rock's God." And the other guy said, "What? Are you having a laugh?" He said, "No, watch, smash." Hit him on the head with it and said, "There you go, I'm God." And the next one along went, "Oh, yes, you are." That's how it works. It's about power and violence and control and brutality. That's how these people run us, and that needs to end. But they are gearing us up for a war in this country with immigrants, because they know there's not going to be any way that you can have mass deportations without having insurrection. And the only thing that's missing for that 7 million people to go into insurrection is a leader. That's it. They've got everything else. They've got the fundamentalism up here. Look how many of these people are coming across on boats. While our politicians are saying it's mainly women and kids, we all know that's rubbish. 84% of these people are young men of military age who are not going to be able to get a job, who are going to be in hotels, getting bored, getting fed up. And as you've seen on the street, there's a lot of them now who are committing criminal acts, including everything from rape to working for Ubers and all the rest of it. This is the problem that they're shying away from. When we go to deport these people en masse, in mass deportations, which is what is needed, because these are not immigrants. These are not people who immigrated here because they want to live here, because they enjoy the culture or they enjoy fish and chips, whatever. These are not people who came here for that. These are people who have come here to work, to take what they can. And they've already broken many laws to get here. You have to bear this in mind before you start judging. Most of these people who are on those boats have come through more than one country. Immigration law states, if you are in a safe country, you cannot, asylum laws, you cannot claim asylum from a safe country. You can emigrate from a safe country into Britain, but you cannot claim asylum. And that's what these people are doing. They're claiming asylum from a free country. They're in France. They are not in danger. The minute they go on that boat, they're in danger. And for me, personally, any one of them taking a woman and a child on that boat anyway should be charged with endangering life, because they understand what they're doing. They're getting on a boat. They're going into the English Channel. Now, I've sailed on the English Channel. As a kid, it's manic out there. But they're taking women and kids on a boat. Are you having a laugh? Well, they certainly are. Because they know what happens the minute it's over. They won't go into detention. They'll go into a hotel. And when we need to round these people up to put them out of the country, we've got at least 1 million illegal individuals of military age who just need leadership. Have a nice day.